Hi, thanks for joining me. So, the other day I picked up a PS3 game, the Super Dimension Fortress Macross Do You Remember Love? Lasting only around 2.5 hours, Do You Remember Love is not really much of a game. Unfortunately, even the really good film contained on the disc can't save a production dragged down by a mediocre side-scrolling platform game, probably one of the worst of this year. It targets the hardcore Japanese game fans and asks them, how much? How much do they love Japan? How much are they willing to pay? It appears bizarre and distinctive, but in reality, it's a dull game that offers appalling value for the money. Now, if you saw the title of this video, you may be wondering, why am I bringing up Do You Remember Love? I'm bringing it up to highlight how ridiculous these accusations sound when leveled against what constitutes a bonus feature on arguably one of the greatest animated movies of the 1980s. In reality, these are all criticisms from professional reviewers no less of Short Piece, Ranko Tsukigime's Longest Day, as they appear on Metacritic, and they are no less ridiculous in that context. When talking of great animated movies from the 80s, you can't not mention Katsuhiro Otomo's epic masterpiece, Akira. Otomo got a start working in manga with a number of short stories that have been adapted into anime over the years. In fact, his start in anime as a director, screenwriter, and animator was on an animated anthology called Neo Tokyo. He continued contributing to anthology works with Robot Carnival, a collection of 9 shorts from then relatively unknown directors. Otomo continued this tradition as an executive producer on Memories, which featured his short story from 1980 of the same name, written and directed for the screen by Koji Morimoto, as well as contributing Cannon Fodder, which he both wrote and directed. Which brings us to his latest anthology, Short Piece, a multimedia work featuring an animated intro, 4 animated shorts, and a video game. This one features another of his classic short stories, Farewell to Weapons, from 1981. Again, Otomo continues the tradition of tapping various talent to direct each story, himself taking on direction and writing roles for the short Combustible. For the 5th short, he brings on Crispies Incorporated, developer of Tokyo Jungle, with Suda Goichi's studio Grasshopper Manufacture handling the writing. If I may refer to Wikipedia, the idea behind the short piece was of a hybrid project composed of the 4 anime shorts and 1 video game. The overarching theme of the project is Japan, with each entry representing a different setting within the country's history. Because the modern era had not been represented in the anime, the team decided to represent it using the video game. The decision to bring both the 4 anime as well as the game to the West was made early in production, and unfortunately, it amounted to this. I find it telling when the anime itself, minus the 5th chapter, commands this price on Amazon, while the complete experience as intended by the artists goes for this. Now, I myself was not fully aware of what this was, and I ended up purchasing the anime on Blu-ray well before I picked up the full version for PS3. However, I find it saddening that somehow the complete edition, with nothing cut, is actually seen as of lower value than the cut version. I'm not going to argue that one does not have the right to be disappointed, even angry, when purchasing something that was marketed or sold to them as something it is not. But I also think that at some point folks need to take responsibility for their own ignorance. Just because you purchased a game that retailed at $40, mind you, and got a multimedia anime experience, that may not be the fault of the artists, animators, and game designers who worked on the project. It may not be necessary to complain about the length of the interactive portion of said project, designed as a chapter in a work whose short films are around 10 minutes each. At some point, it may be necessary to take a little responsibility for oneself and simply admit that you done screwed up. With that out of the way, Ranko Tsukigime's Longest Day is a stylish and interesting platforming game. It features a seemingly normal high school girl who harbors a secret vendetta against her father. With similar absurdity to a game like Suda Goichi's Lollipop Chainsaw, Ranko haphazardly progresses through a series of enemies and character encounters. Each cutscene sequence is presented in a different style, which both highlights the creative freedom the creators are allowed to express, and at the same time, even self-referentially, the budget and time constraints they were certainly working under. Gameplay consists of running from left to right as quickly as possible, while various enemies and environmental hazards work to slow you down. You're constantly chased by an enemy that you can repel with a shot that you charge as you destroy other enemies in the stage. The remaining levels are boss battles that vary in style from a shmup to a tower climb reminiscent of Metal Slug. In fact, the gameplay overall reminds me strongly of the platformers of the 8 and 16-bit era, in particular Sonic the Hedgehog. Here your goals are different, but the quick platforming gameplay feels nostalgically familiar. I played the game over several sessions of about 30 minutes to an hour each. Unlike detractors, I've found the game a bit challenging, and I have yet to finish it. By the game clock, I've played about 1 hour, but it's been longer than that due to repeated tries on each level. Each of the 10 levels is timed and should only take a few minutes. Additionally, there are unlockable secrets throughout each stage, such as concept art and audio, that provide a challenge for those wishing to replay. Speaking of which, the electronic techno soundtrack is hit or miss for me, but a few of the tracks are really good and make the game that much more enjoyable. For what amounts to a short Japanese indie game bundled on an anime film, Ranko Tsukigime's Longest Day is a worthwhile pursuit and certainly far beyond one of the worst of this year. If you want a Suda Goichi game with a longer playing time, try any of his other works. However, if you bemoan the fact that barely any serious artistic anime get produced anymore, you owe it to yourself to experience Katsuhiro Otomo's latest anthology work, and to get the full experience, including Ranko Tsukigime's Longest Day on PS3. The complete version was only released in North America via PSN, but a physical version can be imported from Europe, complete with English subtitles, and it is fully playable on any North American PS3. In conclusion, I'd like to say thank you very much to my Patreon contributors. You guys can go ahead and follow the links here in the video and also in the description. If you'd like to contribute to me on Patreon, that did make this video possible, including allowing it to be free of ads. So I hope that you enjoy that, and I hope that you'll join me again for more video game and anime related videos. Thanks for watching. バイバイ、たかしくん。